Welcome to Make Pods Great Again. I'm your host, John, back again 2 nights in a row with Nikki. Nikki, how are you?
I'm good. It's like I didn't see you for a little bit because you're on vacation, and so now I need to see you every night.
Every single night. And you caught me on one where I'm really tired. I did a WOD in the afternoon, like late afternoon after work, and my shoulders are lit up, and now I'm drinking my Basic B spike seltzer.
Hard seltzer.
And recovering. So it's good. But I'm glad to be podcasting again. And we have special guest, Athena Perez. So, Athena, how are you?
I'm good. It's freaking awesome to be here. I love it.
We are so stoked to have you on because your story, I was just telling Athena before we started recording, like, I feel like I know you because I feel like we're friends because I've watched a couple of your videos and you have such an awesome story that if you know it in the community, it's quite powerful and impactful. And if you don't know it, then I'm really excited to have you on the show tonight to be able to tell a little bit about what you've been through and also how you are, you've published a book about everything.
I still have a hard time even saying that. Like, I did a book, like I actually finished it.
Girl, you wrote a book.
I know.
A freaking book. Come on.
It's still a little unreal, but yeah.
So cool.
That's awesome.
Should we jump right into it? No, John, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was going to say I've never finished a book that didn't have crayons, so I struggle with the thought of writing that many sentences. Athena and I were talking before he came on. It's like I just do like single sentences, like I can't wrap my mind around writing an entire book. Like I can do one snarky comment, post a photo, and I'm done, and that's good for me, But sitting down writing chapter after chapter is like, I don't know. It's like it's kind of awe-inspiring. I don't mean to, sound like I'm fawning over you, but like for me, it is like as someone who does some writing, like it's really, I can't even imagine how challenging that is. So maybe that's the first question for you, I guess, is like when you jumped into this process, was it what you expected, or it's just like, have you always been writing and it's just second nature to you?
No, I was I called myself a blogger. Like the difference between blogging and writing, like people that call themselves professional writers, I would say is night and day. I think a writer would laugh at a blogger. I had to come up with 200 to 300 word blogs, and that's nothing compared to writing this thing. So no, I had no insight as to what this was going to look like or feel like going through it.
And I miss cool. I used to have a blog. I miss blogging. I totally miss it. It was fun. But for me, it was like, I'd get it out on paper and then I'd walk around and never think about it again. And and I don't know if I was well read or not. I felt like I was getting a lot of hits, but I wasn't getting a lot of feedback on it. And I'd read other people's blogs and it'd be like 1,000 comments. I'm like, well, this sucks. Nobody likes me.
Well, this sucks. I'm going to start memes.
So I'm just going to start making fun of people and then they'll comment.
And they'll definitely follow me.
Look at him now.
My, how far we've come.
I'm not sure that's far. I'm not sure that's considered far.
Actually.
Don't be. Please.
Same girl, same. Actually, don't be for real, because days like today, John will text me and be like, people are lighting me up in the DMs and comments, and I'm about to walk away from it all. And I'm like, no, please don't. We need your humor.
Oh my God. People get keyed up about the small, what's really funny, and I'm going to bet, especially when your book hits, that you'll start experiencing this, is like people, when they follow you and follow you long enough, and I think especially with the podcast, they feel like they get to know you because, Nikki and I have like this really casual conversational style, and they feel like they're in the room with you. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
And so when they DM me, they will have never talked to me before. And then they'll send me a DM and they don't even start with, hey, John, how's your day going? It's just like, hey, let me tell you why you were wrong, asshole. And then they just blast me, and I'm like, all right, let's slow down, back up. Say hi, introduce yourself before you tell me how dumb I am. It does get frustrating, the kind of the lack of what I would call positive reinforcement and, just kind of the overwhelming negative, when people want a message, it's because they're pissed off. And I get it. Like, I get that way from time to time too, but it's still like, yeah. So don't be jealous. Please don't.
Have you ever this is a great question for you because you just said something I thought was really, you said that people believe they know you, mm-hmm. they follow all your stuff and they hear you talking and they get to know you. And then you post something and you're like, I never thought you could post something like that. Like that's actually happened to me.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it was shocking. It was a couple months ago. So I think it was Wad Nation posted this. And I appreciate humor. It's funny. They posted this. It was a Girl Scout cookie, like a picture of a Girl Scout cookie, and it said it had the equivalent of burpees on it. So I was like, what a funny idea. So I took that and I said, well, why don't I just do the whole line of Girl Scout cookies and post what the burpee equivalent is for the servings? Because I'm like, this is hilarious.
Hell yeah.
And so, I'm posting it on my stories, and it's amazing to me how many people wrote me and said, Athena, how could you post that? We thought we knew you. There should never be any kind of punishment for eating a cookie. And I'm like, I didn't think like that. I just thought it was funny. Like I've never punished myself with food. Like if they knew me, they would know that, but it was shocking. But
Oh man.
it just resonated because I'm like, why can't it just be funny?
Yeah. Keyboard
Because
warriors, man.
they think you have a platform, and that's their line. Well, you should know better because you have this big platform. Or my favorite is someone with a platform your size should be doing X.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can you guys understand? Like, I'm not making money at this. Like, this isn't a financial thing. It's just a passion project. It's just fun. Like, I like to laugh. I like to do funny things. And just because something is funny doesn't mean I even believe in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can post things. Like I posted several kind of religious themed memes, and people will, which is always a bad idea, by the way.
It's always a bad idea.
Always. Yes, it's a terrible idea, but they're funny. They are funny, and I contend Jesus would laugh. But eventually, like, somebody will post and will message me and tell me how irreverent it is or how I shouldn't be making fun of the religion. I'm like, I'm not. Like, you just have to look at it for what it is. It's just simply sometimes a joke is just a joke. It's not a endorsement. It's not a
there's no secret message behind it. It's just funny, and I'm sharing it because I thought it was funny, and I'm hoping somebody else gets the same laugh I did.
Exactly.
But we're probably running into the same problem. Like I run into problems because people see the name of my page and they just assume I'm far right. They see Make Watch Great Again. Oh, it must be Make America Great Again. He must believe in Trump. Let's follow him. And then the second I post something for outlawed or women's rights or whatever, oh man, like they're all over me. I've duped them somehow. And I would imagine in your case where you're, talking about weight loss, like it sounds like kind of the same thing where they're going, oh, we've spent so much time invested in this. How could you make fun of someone?
Post a picture of a cookie?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Why would you do that? Athena, why would you support punishment for eating something? I'm like, you guys thought way deeper than I did.
Yeah. People don't understand the correlation between what you're saying and how you're joking about it. But I will back up a little bit, because for the people that don't necessarily know your story yet, they might not understand how triggering that would be to your followers. So let's back up for just a second and explain a little bit about what you have been through in your life to lead to you kind of getting to this incredible accomplishment of not only where you're at in your personal health and wellness, but also writing this book, which is epic.
Where do I start?
Where do you start? I don't know. You know what? I will ask more specifically. Can you start from when you were very young? Because that is sort of the part of your story to me that resonates as almost the most shocking, like how you originally spiraled into this very unhealthy relationship with food.
Well, yeah. And I think that that's what people know most, because that was what was in the original CrossFit video. So that's what they had seen. Childhood was a little brutal. Went through a lot of years of horrible physical abuse, a lot of mental abuse. And that's how the weight problem started. Food was used as punishment, force feeding, lack of, there was a little bit of everything. And then from there, I get out of this abusive home, but then you start getting into different situations. And of course, when you never deal with a problem when it starts so young. Then you go into life and then you start experiencing other things that happen. But because you never dealt with the first one, it just snowballs. And that's kind of a reoccurring theme in the book. It just starts from one and then it goes to the next, to the next, to the next.
And for the people that don't know, Athena overcame a lot of that sort of in the mental space, in the physical space as well, obviously losing a bunch of weight. But what was it about finding CrossFit and like our community that began to help you unravel all of those layers? Because it's not just like you walked into a gym one day and you were like, I'm cured, I'm healthy, now I'm mentally good too. Like it probably was the start of something that allowed you to sort of like, dig deeper into all of those layers.
There was a lot of like mental work that happened before I walked into the gym. The book covers so much of that, the background work, I call it, the behind the scenes, the stuff that nobody sees.
Yeah.
CrossFit was, I call it a beautiful accident.
Cool.
Because it wasn't like the very first time that I walked into a box, it's not like I was like, yeah, I'm going to be a CrossFitter. It never even occurred. Like that thought never crossed my mind. It was, I just want to, I want to learn how to walk again. And as I started going to this box, working with, this trainer and being around it, that's how it kind of happened. I was attracted to the barbell.
I feel like that's a feeling we know and love. A lot of people can relate to that feeling.
You can identify with, right?
Totally.
That barbell really attractive, was drawn to it, picked it up, and that was all she wrote.
How long have you been CrossFitting?
3 years, almost 3 years exactly.
Wow, it took me that long to even want to pick up a barbell. So good for you. And so I was scared of the barbell. I'm always impressed with someone like yourself. They can go, man, I love the barbell, because I was scared of it. Like,
really?
Yeah. Like, it's scary, man. Like I see the videos, people dropping that thing on their head and like cleans. Like everybody gets good at cleans, and like every time I do one, I'm like, man, that's gonna hit my chest. That's gonna hurt. Like,
really? It makes me feel powerful.
It does.
Yeah.
I get that feeling, but I guess I'm just always impressed when people just like immediately fall in love with it, because it took me a while. Like it took me a while. It grew on me. I love it now. Don't get me wrong. Like it's, I understand that feeling of power, and you can release anger and anguish and stress and anxiety on the barbell. But man, it took me a while, so.
I was afraid of other things. I wasn't afraid of the barbell. I was afraid of like boxes. Like the first time I ever tried a box jump, like that was terrifying. Jump rope, I was terrified of. The stuff that I knew was jarring. That's what scared me, not the barbell.
Interesting. Well, I mean, you said that you wanted to like relearn to walk again. What kind of physical state were you in?
Oh, it was pretty bad. So I walked into a box on 2 canes. So I had to use the canes when I walked in. I couldn't walk unassisted. So I had to learn how to get off the canes before I could even, like consider myself a CrossFitter.
I mean, I don't know. You probably CrossFitter the second you walked in that door, but okay.
I just didn't know it. That's all.
Exactly.
It was probably there the whole time.
Exactly.
How have you found that carried over into the rest of your life now? Like, I'm just imagining coming in with 2 canes and like how hard it was the first time you did the box jump, but now that you've started to master those things, has it made it easier for you in other challenging areas of your life?
I think that this is something that we could all agree with. I think it's a common theme within CrossFit. When you go through really tough workouts and you think that you're not going to get through it, it carries over into everything you do, right? You have a brutal workout, you think you're going to die, and then 2 hours later you're like, well, that wasn't so bad. I could probably do that again. You know what I mean? In the heat of it, you're like, I'm dead, I'm dying, I'm never doing that again.
Totally.
3 hours later, you're ready to hit it again. And you're like, I know I can probably beat my time next time. Like, who does that? CrossFitters do. So anyway, like in life, I think that it carries through, and then it sounds more like, today wasn't such a bad day at work. I could do it again tomorrow. You know, it'll be a better day tomorrow. Or writing the book, you know, all I have to do is 200 words today or 500 words today, and then I can do it again tomorrow. And it just changes how you look at life.
That's so true.
And I always get like, I see people overcoming things. Like for me, it's not the workouts, although those help. You know, I certainly have those same moments where I do a really hard workout and then if something bad happens tomorrow and I'm like, all right, I can get through this. But for me, it's like seeing people like what you're mentioning, they overcome something. And I'm like, man, if Athena can learn to box jump, why am I bitching about X? You know, like I start to feel guilty about, the things that I'm worried about when I see someone coming in. I get really geeked out in gyms when I see people overcoming real obstacles in life. That's why I'm getting kind of excited about your book now. So send me a copy.
Totally. Now I'm like made of questions when it comes to like the mental aspect of this, because I feel like we don't talk about it a lot. Like, especially in our community, we talk about what diet you should be on, how many minutes of cardio you should do, what type of strength training you should do. So I have a lot of questions about the mental aspect, but before we get there, can you just hit us with the numbers? You were weighing in at how much, and what have you lost now in the course of the last 3 years?
Well, the number's been kind of a guess the whole time. I don't know what it was. I mean, I've taken a couple flying guesses, but when I got on the scale, it just used to flash an error sign, and the scale maxed out at 450. So I don't know. When I started losing weight, it took a while for it to register. So I had to guess. So I basically took the last recorded weight that I was weighed in at on this, kind of industrial scale at the doctor's office when I was going through like the surgery process, and then added some weight because we were not good for the next 2 months at all. So I'm guessing it was probably at least 20 or 30 pounds higher easily.
Wow.
So we think it was somewhere near 500, me and the mouse in my pocket.
Yes. And what about flash forward 3 years?
Flash forward 3 years, we're down 225. We still have about 100 more to go. I had put on a little weight during knee surgery, so
Sure.
we're going to have to work a little bit of that off, but
Sure.
225 is the number right now.
Wow. Holy moly. Look at you. That's epic.
I know, I'm almost speechless. I can't, I'm struggling to wrap my mind around the amount of willpower and consistency it takes to do that. I mean, that's like really, it's really like kind of awe-inspiring. Like I don't know. I give up on almost anything after 90 days. Like,
right.
I mean, it's really amazing. Good for you.
Thank you.
So taking it back to, like I said, the mental aspect, I have so many questions about, because we're like in the CrossFit community, we're so fast to be like, oh, well, have you tried, have you doing 1 a days, 2 a days? Are you on a strength program? Like, and it's all meant to be very helpful. Like, no one is coming at you from like a bad place of like malice or anything like that. But even with the diets, it's like, oh, are you counting calories? Are you doing this? Are you tracking your macros? Do you know what, like, how were you able to honestly, mentally, first and foremost, just even get to a point where you're like, I need to make a change? Because that barrier is something that I think we all struggle with, and we don't talk about often. We don't talk about how you even get yourself to a mental place where you can accept that you're going to try something for, if you're John, 90 days, or if you're you, for 3 years.
Here's the best analogy that I can think of. Like, let's see. This is what comes to mind first. So if this is a horrible analogy, forgive me, but have you ever been at a job where you finally get to that one day where you're like, screw this?
Yeah.
Today, actually.
Yeah, every day of my life.
If you've been there, then I think that you could identify with that feeling. Like, you literally have to get so sick of being that way that you finally just say, I've either got to make a change, or this is the hell that I'm going to be in forever. And
Mm.
if you were at a job, you'd walk out, you'd quit. Something's got to give, you know?
Yeah.
So for me, I thought I was going to die. I literally thought I was going to die. There was a bottle of hydrocodones in the kitchen, and I was like, how many is it going to take to make it all go away? I just wanted the pain to stop. And that was kind of the, you know, the point of, that was it for me.
It's amazing to me how many people, Nikki and I have had this conversation with several people. We had, I don't know if you know John David, who runs Obese to Beast, is a YouTube.
Yes.
I was just thinking this, like
he was
that.
he was on last night, and we were chatting with him. He's a good friend of ours, and almost identical story. Like, he started his journey because he was afraid he was going
afraid
to
of
die.
dying. Yeah.
And he was having, some kind of, what he felt were heart issues, and it's just that fear. And the same thing, like, he didn't want to exist that way anymore. So it's
the doctors, I mean, it was scary. You know, they told me that if I didn't get some pressure off the knees immediately, that I was going to end up in a wheelchair. And I think they said that word for word, Athena, if you don't make a change now, you're going to lose the ability to walk. And I don't know. I don't think it registered until then, like how bad it was.
So if we can flash forward a little bit, I want to talk some about your book. As you've gone over this, I would call it a massive, I mean, sounds like a massive change to me, total lifestyle change. You're now, 3 years in a CrossFit, which is not easy at any weight. What are your goals with this book? Are you just trying to tell your story? Are you trying to help others? Like, what are you really wanting to get out of it?
To Nikki's point, I think, Nikki, you said something very profound, and I'm glad that you brought up the mental part of it, because one of the reasons that I wanted to write it and share it with people was because it's not talked about at all. And it's shocking how the mental side of this type of, people that need help losing weight, walk into a box. The mental side, I feel like, is almost entirely forgotten. And it's almost 90% of it. I have this rule where I call it how some people will talk about, like, the 80-20 rule, 80% diet, 20% working out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in that. I believe in a 70-20-10. It's 70% mental,
Totally.
20% nutrition, 10% physical. So you're talking 70% of the effort is going to be up here. And if that's not addressed, then you're not going to solve the problem. Anyway, so that's what I wanted to talk about in the book, is just to tell people, like, there was a lot of years of stuff that I had to work through before I ever walked in there, that I don't think it would have been possible had I not dealt with the mental side of it first.
I think that is huge insight for everyone in our community. And the reason I say that is because there are plenty of people who are in a really great place physically, and their physique is exactly where they want it to be, and they are still suffering from some of the very same mental demons that caused you to walk in there because you wanted to lose weight, or someone who wants to gain weight or muscle or whatever. Like, there are just so many of us that need to address, or at least recognize, that is something that is worth addressing, because you can't get yourself to an unhealthy place mentally about any of this stuff, about with your relationship with food, with your relationship with how you look or how you feel or how you perceive other people see you, or the way that you look. I mean, everything, like,
everything in your life.
Yeah. The mental health aspect of it runs so many parts of what we do on a daily basis. And CrossFit is certainly there, or any kind of physical activity is certainly there to help us feel good and sweat it out, and you take it out on the barbell or whatever. But, like, it can't be the only solution. We need to find that within ourselves as well to balance that out. It has to be that way.
How much are you still fighting that mental battle? Like, I made a joke to somebody the other day that I thought I had body dysmorphia because I'm at the lightest I've ever been. And I still, I think, like a lot of us, get on the scale and I'm like, oh, I gained 2 pounds, or I'm like, why is this not getting, but why am I still chubby here or whatever, like, and when I look in the mirror, I see myself how I looked 10 years ago before I started CrossFit. Like I can't get that out of my head, even though I know I look infinitely different. How much are you still fighting kind of that mental battle from where you were 3 years ago and where you were today, or where you are today?
It's definitely like not where it was like when maybe in that first year. I struggled because every time I looked in the mirror, I still saw the Athena that walked in there on that first day, because sometimes that's still how I feel. And I think now I don't struggle with that as much, because I feel like I've made peace with where I'm at. It doesn't mean that I'm satisfied with where I am. It just means that I'm at peace where I'm at right now.
Like, you're on a journey, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I talk about this too, is that, you got to make peace with time, because you don't control time. None of us do. So,
you are certainly not asking for or working for any of the types of changes that happen overnight. So making peace with time is so very important to ensuring the stability of all your other sort of like mental games that are happening.
I'm still trying to make peace with you calling Nikki profound, for whatever that's worth.
I'm not gonna forget that moment.
I know you were smirking like a Cheshire cat. As soon as the words left her mouth, I'm like, oh, I'm never going to hear the end of this for like the next 30 podcasts. All
John,
I'm going to hear.
if I could just make a profound statement,
yes,
please?
Let me make a profound point. I think you're making a great point here, and I'm asking for myself, like, and not even for our audience. Like, I legit struggle with this, and I think that's a great thought of like, I'm coming up on my 50th birthday. I know, in just a couple of weeks. And I was talking to somebody about this today of like how much fitter I am at 50 than I was at 40. And I have photos of myself at 40, like when I started fitness, like, and I'm going to compare. I haven't looked at them. I haven't gone back to look, but I'm going to look in a couple of weeks to see the differences in my body, but I haven't really connected until you just said it, that passage of time.
Yeah.
And so I think that's helpful to me. I hope it's helpful to others, of just like, now I'm thinking, what are my before and afters going to look like at 60, other than I'm going to be wrinkly, or more wrinkly, say. Maybe they'll come up with a pill to grow hair. I'll have a full head of hair at 60. That'd be amazing.
Wow.
I know.
I can't picture you with hair.
I was just thinking the same thing. I'm like, what would that look like?
What would it be?
If I can, I'm gonna grow a fro. It's gonna be awesome.
Nice.
Like an old 70s, just like big. It's gonna be amazing.
I'm here for it.
I'll get a perm, a total perm. It'll be hot.
It'll be hot. I love it.
So obviously we know you're still on your journey, but what are some of your goals right now? Like not weight or scale related. You've been like crushing it in the gym now and really accomplishing some things that you weren't sure you could do in the beginning. So like, what are some of your CrossFit-y, fitnessy kind of goals?
Next goal crusher. So I got a team put together. There's 4 of us, and we're going for the qualifiers for the beginners team at Wadapalooza this next year.
Oh,
wow, that's awesome.
So we're going for it. And, I couldn't see myself like turning competition into one of those things that I want to do all the time, but I want to be able to say I did it once.
Totally. So that will be cool.
That's a huge goal.
That is a huge goal. And have you ever been to Wadapalooza?
No. It looks incredible though.
Yep. It's totally like the mecca of all things party fitness. And it is such an awesome stage for CrossFitters or fitness enthusiasts of any single level to hit the competition floor, because you feel like a rock star. Do you know what I mean? There's like the support and the people in the stands, and like everyone is there for the beginners and the masters and the teenagers and the adaptive athletes. And like, they don't care that you're not Matt Fraser, like they are there to cheer you on. And that is a really, really cool environment to be in. So I really hope you guys train hard and qualify.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I was a little nervous about it at first because the legs are still healing.
Sure.
So, but I shoot for big goals. So
there you go.
That's
well, the
amazing.
beauty of team competition is that maybe there's ways you can break it up where your partners take on some of the more
exactly. I think I love that part of it. I've never been on a team before like that. So yeah, I feel like that could utilize all of our strengths in different ways. Like maybe my legs aren't as strong as the other three, but
totally. Sort of along those lines, and as in terms of like you and your teammates and people at the gym that are around you, have you been able to, now that you've been on your journey for a little while, have you been able to turn around and help other people, support other people? Have you seen anyone else walk in the gym and you've been like, oh, I've been there. Let me hook you up with some mental fortitude or anything like that?
Oh yeah. Like before I started coaching, and before I went out for surgeries, I had a class that was, I call it my special class. It was specifically geared towards those athletes that walked into the box, kind of in the same position that I did.
Cool.
And I love working with that demographic because it's just, I get it. So that's actually what I'm working on right now is I just got approved for my affiliate. So we're going to do the same thing. And that's specifically who I want to work with, are the people that were just like me.
Wait, hold on. Did you just say you're opening your own CrossFit affiliate?
Yes.
Athena, you're opening your own CrossFit affiliate.
It's like a little, it's a small, like very humble, small box, but yeah, I got approved for it. So it's called Scaled Nation CrossFit. And the reason behind the name was, I want to make scaled cool again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's our next shirt, actually.
Yes.
We'll co-brand with you.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yep.
Scaled is a word that I am so proud of because it's what enabled me to even be a CrossFitter. And it's a word I say with pride, like I don't know why, but I feel like it's CrossFit's dirty little word. And I'm like, it wasn't for me.
It's because it is. People view it as weakness. Like I've done the last 2 or 3 open scaled, and I catch so much grief from followers because they're like, oh, you can RX, you should be. And I'm like, no, I want to scale. Like there's nothing embarrassing about scaling. I don't go home feeling like I've been run over by a Mack truck. I feel great. It doesn't interrupt my training.
You're not injured.
Yeah. And most importantly, I can continue to train because I'm not injured, but
exactly.
People they view it like it's weakness, and it's not.
I hear it a lot. I'm sure you've heard it this way too. I'll hear people talk about the workouts and they'll say, well, I did this. I did a great workout, had a great day, scored really good, but it was scaled. And I'm like, I don't know why people say it like that. Like, but it was scaled.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with scaled?
Like, you went in and got your butt kicked today. What is the big deal?
Why couldn't you just say you had a great workout instead of, but it was scaled?
Here's how scaled I am. So here's the things I teach people.
Now it's the competition.
Yes.
No. Here we go.
No, here are the things I teach people. Like, there are no extra points for doing things harder. None. Right? I'm in the gym the other day and it's just hot as heck. And there's a guy there that's a little bit older than me, and he's a relatively new CrossFitter. And the workout had step ups on a box with a dumbbell. And he's setting up, and I walk over. I'm like, no, buddy, let's move your box. He's like, why? I'm like, because it's cooler closer to the door. Like, you don't need to be all the way out in the gym. Move your box. So he sets everything up. I'm like, pick up your dumbbell, put it on the box. He's like, why? I'm like, because you don't need to do a deadlift every single time you do a step up. Just pick it up off the box. It's allowed. He's like, it's allowed. I'm like, yes. He's like, I love you, dude. He's like, thank you. Like he's grateful for the tips. And it's like, he's working harder when he doesn't need to, and I think oftentimes people start to think, if I'm not RX or if I don't move to the hottest part of the gym or make this like some sort of Spartan, experience, they're not going to get the full,
CrossFit.
like they're not going to get the full experience of CrossFit. And that's just, I yelled at my dad for this the other day. He's rowing in the hottest part of the gym in 98-degree Mississippi weather, and he's 75 years old. I'm like, are you insane? Like, there's no extra points for that. Get a bottle of water, get in front of the fan, get on the rower, take some breaks. You're still going to be fit. Like,
so true. I was last year during the Open, I used to post the the workouts would show up, and then I would post like Athena's scaled version, like, hey, here's some suggestion for you guys on how you can scale these. And so many people would write back and they would go, well, is that allowed? Can we do it that way? And I was just like, well, yeah, you can do it that way. Are you trying to get into the top 20? Because if you're not, it really doesn't matter.
Right.
You can do it however you need to do it. Don't ask people like, is this allowed? Yes, it's allowed. Just do it.
Right. And I think that it's fine to have goals. I think that if you can't do a box jump on your first day, but you want to someday, and you are scaling it for a while, and then you're RXing it for a while, and then later on you're really sore and you decide to scale it again, or you're recovering from an injury, like there is no linear, like you don't just get to the end point where you RX and you're done. Like we're all just working out on a daily basis. Depending on how you feel or what you're going through, it could change. So I think it's really cool that you are starting a community with that mentality. Like from the ground up, you're like, hey, come here no matter what you're capable of doing, which in fairness is every CrossFit gym, but it's nice that you're spelling it out for people, especially new people.
Yeah. I wanted to be pretty clear right out of the chute. Like this is going to be a word that we embrace because that's who we are.
You'll be catering to a group, I think, that are underserved. There's a huge population of people, I believe, that feel awkward or nervous or anxious ridden to go to a coach who's incredibly fit. Usually these coaches are, 21, 22, and they've got, 30 abs, and they never wear a shirt. And, you found an old guy like me. It's like, I'm not going to go ask that guy how much weight I should put on. I'm just going to put on a lot so they're impressed by me, and then you end up getting hurt and you don't enjoy the experience and you leave. You never come back, and so I think it sounds like you're going to be serving a community that needs, like-minded people that can help them stay fit, stay in fitness, like do what you've done, which is, hey, this is a time-bound commitment, not a get fit, quick scheme.
Yeah. Underserved, fantastic term. Yes.
Profound term.
Very profound. I would have to assume, like, I wouldn't even want to guess how many people out there are too embarrassed to walk into the box. Like how many of those are there? Those are who I'm going after. Because I think that everybody can start. I think it's just the word, and I found the word intimidating too, CrossFit. Mm-hmm. But people in the demographic that I want to serve, they're not doing box jumps when they start, they're learning how to get up and down off the ground safely. So just little things that, would a coach look at that person and realize like, wow, I'm going to have to teach them how to get up off the ground first. Or do they understand that?
I would not be surprised if once you opened up, you not only foster that, that new community, that may have been intimidated by CrossFit. I wouldn't be surprised if you also grow some serious competitors, because it's not always the gym with the super ripped bods. It's the gym with the best community that athletes want to be at of all levels. So I really wouldn't be surprised to see that, we get games athletes coming out of your gym just alongside the folks that maybe were scared to walk into the box a week ago.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm super excited for you. I love the name Scaled Nation. Nikki made a joke, but we really should co-brand that.
We really should.
I'm all up in the scaled. Like that's been my mantra for a long time. So
I'm game.
Send us shirts. Need them.
Yes.
Love it.
We will absolutely make it happen. So how soon have you guys launched, or how soon do you launch
They
you
give
said
us the
you're approved?
details.
Yeah.
Yeah, great question. So there's a there's a fly in here. It's driving me crazy. So my challenge right now is getting equipment, as you guys probably know that. So it's being piecemealed, one dumbbell and barbell at a time.
Of course.
So yeah, it's really just going to be how long is it going to take to get enough, it's a 20 by 20 box. So it's not like I'm going to be able to have a bunch of people here at one time. So I'm limited, but it has to be enough to get it going. And then the other thing was, I really want it to be open for people to be able to be part of the community and part of the box digitally, which is one of the strategies. So it's just how long is it going to take to figure out what that looks like? I don't know yet. I literally just got, the affiliate approved. So I'm all official now. And we've started demo in the garage.
Yeah.
And, that's about as far as we're at right now. But I'm just trying to figure out every day what this looks like.
So
Cool.
when you say digitally, what does that mean? Are you talking Zoom classes or just?
Yep. Yeah, I want people to be able to be part of the community from their living room and get rid of that idea that they can't start, like let them start it out in their own environment where they feel safe.
Yeah.
And then, I'd love my box to be a springboard, let's work out digitally. And when they get to a point where they're feeling confident and they're like, yeah, I can do this, then help them find a box that's local to them.
That's cool, because that is like, as soon as gyms opened again, I feel like a lot of us were very quick to like abandon. We've just been stuck at home and they were like, screw this, and back in the gym. And it's cool to continue to offer that option to people, and even people who might not end up at your gym themselves.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think you tied into this whole theme around scaled. Like my parents are my dad's a CrossFitter, goes to a CrossFit gym. So he's a CrossFitter. And, I just have trouble wrapping my mind around that he's a CrossFitter now. And my mom and dad started this weight loss journey together about 11 months ago. And my mom works out, but she works out at home and she does it alone, and I don't think it's very fun for her. Just a little that I've talked to her. I mean, she does it, and God bless her. She lost 45 pounds or so. And she looks great. But, I'm imagining when I originally talked to her, I said, hey, you should go to the CrossFit gym with dad. You'll really like it. And she's like, no, I'm not comfortable working out in front of others.
Not into it.
And that's great. There are plenty of people like that. I just imagine, like, I wish you had this when she was doing it. Cause I love the image of her being in a community, even if she's in the privacy of her own home or her bedroom or wherever, so I think, again, you're hitting a real underserved community. Like, you might be hitting on a gold mine here. You may revolutionize CrossFit in the way gyms are run, which truthfully would be a really great thing if others could latch onto this,
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
What about the, give us all the details on your book. Now that people have heard this profound interview, they're going to want to hear the rest of your story. So what's going on with that?
The book is out on Kindle. You can pretty much find it on any of the online. It's on Google Play and Apple and Kindle. It comes out officially on paperback on Tuesday.
Ooh.
So yeah, I know. You'll be able to get the paperback on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
And the official title is?
The official title is Lifting the Weight, WAIT.
So cool.
That's awesome.
Oh, Athena, I'm so excited for you. This is so cool.
Thank you. Man,
I feel lazy all of a sudden. Like,
I know. There's a pizza waiting for me downstairs. And I'm like, oh.
You've done so much. Like, I'm just making memes and hanging out. Man, good for you. So
your contributions are appreciated more than you know.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
She's right. She's right.
I tell you what, my favorite part of this, Nikki, you missed it before you came on. You know what her nickname is?
What?
Bean.
Oh, mine.
Athena's nickname is Bean.
Bean? No way.
Bean. Yes.
We have 2 beans on this call tonight?
We do. 2 beans. It's great. Only one is nice.
How long?
Right.
Have you been, is your nickname is Bean too?
Oh no,
No?
I've seen Bean the cat in the background.
Yeah, he's right
Oh,
here.
that bean.
Yeah, this
That
bean.
Bean,
I was
the
like,
most
there's
important
3
Bean.
beans.
He's always close, and he actually got so he got featured also about weight loss yesterday. I got him featured on on an Instagram page called We Rate Chonks. And
Chonks.
so I'd seen somebody did it. I'm like, oh, Bean's kind of fat. I'll send some photos in. So I call him my chonky boy, So I send in a photo, but they require that he's on a diet in order to post it. So I had to lie to him. They go, is he on a diet? I'm like, oh yeah, he's lost a full pound on his diet. I fat shamed him. It was great.
They require that your chunky pets are on a diet in order to feature them?
Yeah, I sent in 7 photos and had to give a little story and tell whether or not he was on a diet. So of course I lied like a sailor. And
he does look thick in those photos that you sent them
he
to.
does
I know he's not that thick in real life, but
He's a thick cat.
He's a thick boy.
Here's the thing, he's not. Like, I'm tempted at some point to give him a bath and then take photos. He'd be skinny. Like he's
like
just,
a wet rat.
Yeah, he's just full of hair. Like it's
know.
all over the house. Oh my God, it's horrible. But so he looks huge, and he's a normal sized cat, but he just looks gigantic. And in photos, he looks even bigger. Like when he gets fluffy,
I'm really glad we went down this tangent.
Yes.
He's going to end up having his own memes,
Well, he's had a few, and I got to be honest, I was a little upset that he got featured because they rate these chonks. It says we rate chonks, and they gave him a 9.5 out of 10. Bean is a straight up 10. Screw
9.5
them.
is pretty good.
No,
I'd take a 9.5.
Yeah, me too.
He's a 10. I was like, no, he's perfect the way he is, but screw them.
It's a proud papa right there.
I know. I can
9.5, not my son.
I know. It's my boy we're talking about here. I mean, he can be an asshole to me, but I love him, so anyway. This was a weird rabbit hole. Sorry, I didn't mean to take it down.
Anyway.
I love it.
Yep.
I feel the same way about my dog, the best dog in the world.
Well, you're going to get Nikki on a tangent now because she's got 2. Here we go.
I will stop before we start.
Dog moms, yeah?
Yep.
I won't. I need another hour.
Yeah, we could spend an hour talking about Nikki's dogs. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Well, Athena, thank you for being on. We really appreciate it. Your story,
so fun.
Besides being super inspirational, I think is very, very helpful. And I'm most excited about how much help you're going to be doing in the community besides the book. Like your gym is it's just really an amazing idea. So congratulations for that.
Thank you. I'm hoping that I got to take it from the idea and then actually make it happen. But
well, Nikki and I will help you any way we can. Let us know. Our platforms, for lack of a better term, are at your disposal. So let us know. We're happy to help. And thank you so much for what you're doing.
Well, I appreciate you guys so much. We're gonna co-brand those shirts.
I'm ready.
Perfect.
We're gonna do it.
Scaled Nation.
I can't wait.
All right. Well, Nikki, this has been fun as always.
As always.
And you have a pizza, so we will let you go from the weight loss topic to go eating your pizza. And I will go hang out with my chubby cat and drink my basic spiked seltzer. So for everyone listening, we appreciate you guys being on. Before we go, new merch out. Check out links in our bios. We've got shirts, patches, tanks that are really cool. And there's a Patreon page as well. Links in all of our bios. We'd love for you guys to join and be a part of the fun. So with that, we will let you go and we will chat with you guys soon.